Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Yes, today has been kind of a bizarre day here in the US at least, especially, no, actually, regardless of what side of the political aisle you happen to be on. Ay. But let's avoid all that nastiness, and let's get along for a change because the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, gang. Yes, Jeff McAleer back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope. Presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. So welcome aboard. Today is Thursday, July 12th, and I've got a pretty big show ahead of us today. So quite a bit of news. I'm going to actually dive in and take a first look at Mutant Year Zero, the core role-playing game book from Free League as well as Modiphius Entertainment. I've got some extra goodies we're going to peek at as well, some extra accessories for the game. So lots and lots going on. Welcome aboard. If this is your first time watching the show, by all means, kick back, relax. This is a live stream, although a vast majority of people actually don't watch this live. They kind of watch it after the fact. But if you happen to be watching live, feel free to say hello if you have a question or a comment or would like to see something a little more up close for Mutant Year Zero. Feel free, chime in, and I will respond. Chat is not on screen simply because that helps deter some oddball commenting, if you know what I mean. So, as I mentioned, got a big show ahead. So, I've got news, I've got a few items that I'm going to mention. Not from the mailbag, just a few things I want to kind of touch upon real quickly, and then lots of RPG goodness today. Excuse me. You know, it's weird. It's really humid, but there's like a lot of dust floating around down here in the duct tape studio today. So strangely enough, my mouth gets getting dry, but I'm a little kind of sweaty down here today. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's usually a lot cooler down here. Anywho, so let's get into the news. And the first news item was something that I was planning on sharing yesterday. And strangely enough, I had not set stuff up for the news slides that I like to present, simply because I was too busy watching the first half of that World Cup game yesterday. So kind of slacked off a little bit. But USAopoly is going to be releasing a family fun game based on the works of J.K. Rowling this September. And I've got just a wee bit of dope about Fantastic Beasts: Perilous Pursuit. Several of Newt Scamander's, I think it's Scamander, I don't know. I'm not overly familiar with the series, to be honest. Several of Newt Scamander's magical beasts have escaped, are running loose in New York City. In Fantastic Beasts: Perilous Pursuit, players take on the role of Newt, Tina, Jacob, and Queenie on an exciting adventure as they try to return all the beasts to Newt's suitcase before they draw the attention of the non-magical community. To do this, they need to collect sets of dice to take actions that allow them to shield each other, draw cards, and most importantly, get the beasts back into his suitcase before havoc ensues. The game was produced under license and will be available only in the US and Canada from USAopoly. It comes with 4 player boards, 60 tokens, 42 cards, 1 beast marker, and 6 custom dice. The game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, and will take about 45 minutes to play, and it will carry an MSRP of $29.95 when it arrives in September. So I have to point out, granted, I know almost nothing about this game. They're not sharing a whole lot. There's only 2 images that are available right now from USAopoly about the game, even though it is a September release. But I do have to point out, I was very pleasantly surprised by how much we enjoyed the Rise of Thanos dice game, which came from USAopoly, which is tied into Infinity War. I kind of had the impression that it was going to be, yeah, this is going to be a kind of a drudge to kind of slog through, but it turned out to be a lot of fun. So just because it's a licensed game doesn't mean it's going to be crap. So, and USAopoly has done some licensed games in the past that have done very, very well. Star Trek Panic, for an example, but that's got the Castle Panic sort of pedigree behind it. So, once again, Fantastic Beasts will be available this September. Okay, so Ares Games has given us another first look at some of the upcoming Battlestar Galactica Starship Battles models, and these do look different because I know when we last saw some previews, these ships were not looking too sharp. They were actually kind of like horizontal and vertical, just almost like you slide them together. Now we're actually seeing that these are going to be real 3D pre-painted miniatures for the core game, and I do have some dope. Welcome to Battlestar Galactica Starship Battles, the new miniature board game created by Ares Games, launching at the end of 2018. In Battlestar Galactica Starship Battles, players take control of Colonial and Cylon spaceships and face each other in furious dogfights and daring missions, piloting beautifully pre-painted and pre-assembled miniatures, faithfully representing the spaceships from both the reimagined and classic versions of the show. It is actually from the same designers of Wings of Glory and Sails of Glory, and the game uses a unique game system inspired by its glorious predecessors, but at the same time featuring many new features to represent the cinematic yet realistic space battles of the show. At least the second show, the reimagined show. The entry point to the game will be the starter set, which is estimated to arrive in December. And this starter set is a complete game, but it's also the entry point for the whole range of Battlestar Galactica Starship Battles products. The starter set will include 4 miniatures, 2 Colonial Mark II Vipers, including Apollo's Viper and his pilot cards, 2 Cylon Raiders, and everything you need to play with them. The starter set allows 2 to 4 players to play different scenarios, from heated dogfights to dangerous missions, with each player controlling 1 or 2 spaceships. The MSRP is tentatively set at $49.90, kind of an odd number, not 99 or 95. And as I mentioned, the game will arrive in December. There are additional Viper Mark II and Cylon Raiders packs that are going to be available in the future, but MSRP on those has not been announced. I do understand that the game plan here that Ares Games has is that they're going to have the fighters, and then at some point in the future, they're going to introduce like the Cylon base and actual starships like the Battlestar Galactica. Thing that I'm kind of curious about is what kind of scale will they make those in, because Ares Games does not necessarily put their models, especially, like I'm thinking of tripods and triplanes. That one, the Martian war machines are completely out of scale with the World War I fighters. So I'm kind of curious, when they do bring the large starships into the game, what kind of scale are they going to be at? But this does seem pretty interesting, and they are tackling both series, the classic series and then the series that was on not too long ago, which was awesome. All right, hey, Drew Barbier's chiming in chat. Hey, Drew, good to see you. All right, so Flying Frog Productions has a new large-size expansion that's going to be hitting in September, and I've got the dope on Blasted Wastes, which is one of their Otherworld expansions. The Blasted Wastes Deluxe Otherworld expansion offers a lot of new material, not only for exploring and fighting your way across the new Otherworld of the Blasted Wastes, but also for all new adventures on the frontier with the Canyons. With this set, gateways have opened up, leading to the corrosive alien desert world of the Blasted Wastes. full of perilous environmental hazards and vicious warbands of alien scavengers that rove the desert dunes, stealing supplies and resources from any that cross their path. Also included is a brand new world themed around the Old West, the Canyons. It's fully realized as an additional world with a full set of cards, map tiles, and even some missions to bring your heroes into the dusty valleys and rocky gulches of the Old West. This expansion does introduce a brand new otherworld full of alien terrors, wasteland scavengers, and deadly desert hazards. Included are 18 map tiles with some new Earth-based worlds on the back, all the cards needed for both these new worlds, 4 deadly new enemy types, so you'll have 6 wasteland scavengers, 3 sand crabs, which are pretty large, 3 wasteland warriors / heavies, and 6 tribal ghost warriors, as well as a brand new alien barter town that heroes can visit in the wastes. Shadows of Brimstone Blasted Wastes requires the base game, of course, and will carry an MSRP of $79.95 when it arrives this September. So, gotta say, Shadows of Brimstone, I have played it a couple of times. The core game, it's cool, but I could tell just from playing Swamps of Death that really you need more expansions to it to really start bringing out all the different options in the game. Not to say the base game's bad, it's fun. I was just surprised it didn't knock me out like I thought it would. Just the core game. Now, I know Elliot Miller, my best friend, and the Voice of E over at voiceofe.com, he's got quite a few of the various different expansions, and he has pointed out that, yeah, those expansions really do boost the excitement of playing Shadows of Brimstone. All right, so today's Thursday. I like talking about role-playing games on Thursdays. Obviously, I'm going to be taking a look at Mutant Year Zero in just a few minutes, but do want to point out that if you are interested in the Dark Eye role-playing game from Ulisses North America, of which I've done some reviews for a limited time, you're going to be able to get the role-playing game, the Player's Essential Bundle, at a special discount. This bundle includes 5 releases at discount to help new players enter the world of the Dark Eye RPG. So, if you're not familiar with the Dark Eye, here's the dope on the core book. The Dark Eye is a fantasy role-playing game wherein you and your friends play the leading roles at the center of heroic action. Travel the land as a virtuous knight, elven ranger, or erudite mage. Rebuild the war-weary Midden Realm. Marvel at exotic wonders in the lands of the Tulamides. Discover lost ruins in the steaming jungles of the south, or try to drive back the evil of the Shadowlands. Rescue innocent victims from the cult of the Nameless One. Guess he doesn't have a name. Navigate labyrinth plots and intrigues at the court of the Empress, or stand shoulder to shoulder with the brave defenders of the border cities to repel the ever-growing orc storm. Experience the breath of Aventuria, the Dark Eye's immersive fantasy world crafted by those who grew up steeped in medieval lore amid ancient forests, forbidding mountains, and fairy tale castles. Yes, the Dark Eye has been around for decades and is the most popular role-playing game in Germany. The core rules present all the Dark Eye's refined, time-tested game systems. Character experience earns additional skills, new spells, and special fighting styles to face ever greater challenges. To get started, all you need is pen and paper, dice, and the core book. Build the characters you want to play or choose from a large selection of customizable character archetypes. So I did do the review of the core game, so you can definitely check out that video. Now, I do want to point out this limited time special will contain the digest-sized core rules book, the hardcover Aventuria Almanac, the Aventuria Bestiary, a character sheets pack, and the Vampire of Havana solo adventure to help familiarize yourself with gameplay. So you can score all 5 physical products. These are not PDFs. for a grand total of $79.95. So it will save you a bit of dough on the physical releases. And I have found the Dark Eye to be pretty interesting. I'm just waiting for more stuff to come out in English. I think that's kind of the issue I've got so far is, especially there's a magic book, which is supposed to really open things up. So, oh, hey, Drew says, that reminds me, I need to get into that vampire solo adventure that he picked it up a few weeks ago. See, there you go. I know Drew's a fan of the Dark Eye, so tossing that out there. I know Drew has made some comments during some of the reviews that I've done for the Dark Eye products. So, I like saving you money, so I'm talking about how to save you money on the Dark Eye. And there is also another bundle of holding, which just launched. I believe it was yesterday, if memory serves. And you can save money on Ars Magica. I think it's Magica, because Magica sounds too lame. So Ars Magica, Mythical Europe, from Atlas Games. Here's the dope. Another new offering, Magus, alongside our resurrected August 2014 Ars. I swear, I gotta say, Magica sounds cooler, but it's probably Ars Magica. Anyway, I'll say Ars Magica. Anyway, alongside our resurrected August 2014 Ars Magica 5 bundle, now in progress, which I believe is the 5th edition of the game, this all-new offer, ARM5 Mythic Europe, conjures a hermetic library full of 5th edition supplements for the Atlas Games RPG of medieval myth and magic. Ars Magica by Jonathan Tweet and Mark Reinhagen. If you already have the original collection, this new companion expands your saga with source books and supplements about the wizards and cultures of Mythic Europe. For just $14.95, you'll get the offer's starter collection, which has a retail value of $60 in DRM-free PDF ebooks. There are 4 source books about the people and institutions of Mythic Europe: Lords of Men, plus a free web supplement, The Church, City and Guild, and Art and Academy. If you pay more than the offer's threshold price of $26.56, you'll also get the offer's entire bonus collection with 4 more character source books worth an additional $60. Magi of Hermes, Legends of Hermes, Antagonists, and Grogs. Don't know what a grog is. I know what grog is like a, drink, liquor, but I don't think that's what grogs is in this. Remember, mages, if you haven't already purchased the resurrected August 2014 Ars Magica 5 bundle, that is also available right now too. Keep in mind, 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to the offer's designated charity, Doctors Without Borders. I will be the first to point out I know practically nothing about Ars Magica. Like I said, Magica just sounds better. Ars Magica. But I'm sure it's not it. But the game has been around for a long time. I want to say, I think this was a system that came out in the 80s. Right around like World of Darkness coming out. But I'm almost positive that they were not part of that. They weren't White Wolf. But I want to say it came out right about that same time. And I got to admit, I kind of dig the whole 13th century, 12th, 13th century European setting with some magic, with some monsters. I think that'd be pretty cool. And I think that's what Mythic Europe is kind of set in. I think it's set in about the 13th century. So by all means, save some money if you've never checked it out. As I mentioned, this is the special like add-on bundle that's available. So if you don't have Ars Magica 5th edition already, there is an offer at Bundle of Holding for that as well. Gonna continue trying to save you some money because if you're a miniatures gamer or you role play using minis, you're gonna be happy to know that right now through July 17th, you can save on loads of gaming maps and tiles from heroic maps. Right now, you can save 60% on, get ready for this, over 380 items from the company through Drive-Thru RPG. And I was taking a quick peek through a lot of this, and I was very interested. There's like loads and loads of different maps. And not only do they have them where they're like kind of like RPG maps, they also have them where they're in grids. They've got 10 by 10, 20 by 20, 30 by 30. They've got daylight and nighttime map packs. There's all different stuff. I thought a lot of this stuff looks really, really nicely done. Really high quality. Now, of course, granted, you are downloading them as PDFs, right? You're downloading them to print out yourself, but they do look pretty sweet. So I did want to point that out. And I mean, I've seen some of these map packs with the discount. They're going for less than $1. So I mean, come on, how can you go wrong? So by all means, you've got until the 17th to save. The sale just started today. So, and of course, I always point out, if you're going to be going to Drive-Thru RPG or any of the other drive-thru sites, do me a big favor, swing by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banners to the drive-thru sites, and if you do make a purchase, we'll get a small portion of that purchase, which a lot of times really goes a long way. I have pointed out a few times, well, many times actually, that there are many months that the little 10 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents here and there that we receive from your purchase, all that adds up and actually pays for the hosting for the gaminggang.com for the month. And we do not have cheap hosting. You don't get cheap hosting when you have between 75,000 and 100,000 unique visitors a month. You don't get away with cheapo hosting. So big thumbs up and thanks to everyone out there who does stop by thegaminggang.com before they go to the drive-thru sites. All right, so that is it for the news today. Just have a couple of quick items I wanted to point out before I jump into the deep dive into Mutant Year Zero. One thing I wanted to mention that I don't think a lot of gamers in the US realize at this point in time, this is probably not going to be something that really affects role-playing game fans. As far as, say, you know, like buying PDFs or buying physical books, things like that. But board game fans, take note. These tariffs are not going to be good. These tariffs are not going to be good for gamers. It's not going to be very long before you're going to start seeing the price of board games bump up again. And right now, I mean, let's be honest, there are a lot of people who are being priced out of the hobby simply because every game that comes out has got to have miniatures and all this chrome and all this other stuff on top of it. And sometimes the gameplay kind of suffers a little bit. But of course, all these minis and that just keep boosting the price of these releases higher and higher. Well, these tariffs with China's going to hit back, and it's going to hit the board game fans out there in the wallets, because a vast majority of the board games that are produced and released here in the United States are made in China. And that's not a big surprise for people. I'm sure most gamers already realize that, but it's important to point out you are going to see the prices go up because game manufacturers are being told right now from their contractors that they use, get ready to have to pay more. So if they're going to pay more, they're going to turn around and charge you more. So did want to mention that. And, well, it is what it is. I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to talk politics. I think folks who have followed the Gaming Gang for a long time realize that I am left of center, even though I'm a big fan of war games and historical games and things like that. That does not necessarily make me right of center. It makes me someone who enjoys history and understands things better than a lot of people on both sides of the aisle. Because if you don't understand history, then it's really kind of pointless for you to bother to pay too much attention to what's going on right now because you have absolutely no point of reference for most things. There are reasons why things do happen in the world. So anyway, all right, so that was very strange. Let me kind of pull stuff back up. Had the power go out. So that was very, very bizarre. See, that's what happens. I mentioned something political and boom! Down goes the power. It's like shutting me down. And I wasn't even saying anything negative. So I will pop out a quick chat. And the funny thing is, the power was only out for, I would say, maybe 30 seconds or so. So, and then of course, you know, it takes all this time to reboot and everything else. And now sometimes if I were to stream, to start a new stream within a few moments of another stream ending, then YouTube actually combines the two videos together. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed it does that. Gotta be honest, that's probably not gonna be the case. So, good thing I was recording both, which now what I do is I do record the streams just in case they tend to turn out to be a little out of sync as far as the audio and things like that. So I was starting to say what's on the show for tomorrow as well as Monday, and then from Tuesday on through a full week without any live streams. Although I'm hoping this weekend I will have some time to, because I've got a couple done. I'm going to do a few more just kind of standalone videos that I will release while I'm actually covering San Diego Comic-Con, because I can't do live coverage of SDCC. I mean, yeah, come on. I'm lucky I can pull off this stream half the time. So let me make sure we got the camera on over here, because we're going to be hopping into Mutant Year Zero in a minute. So on tomorrow's show for Family Fun Friday, I'm going to take a look at Istanbul, the dice game. So I'm going to do an unboxing, and we're going to take a peek at that. It's from my good friends over at AEG. And then on Monday, I am going to do my review for Tales from the Loop. So this is another Free League title, which I did a kind of deep dive into this book last week. Did finish reading it just the other night, and mum's the word. I'm not going to say anything. I have to wait till the review. But there is a reason why a bunch of people like this. So a bunch of people like Tales from the Loop. So that is what's going to be cooking. So without further ado, let's start taking a look at Mutant Year Zero, role-playing at the end of days from Free League. And, let me pop down here. There we go. From Free League and Modiphius Entertainment. It's written by Tomas Härenstam. Just a guess. I'm gonna mispronounce all this stuff because you got to remember this is a Swedish game, so I have to apologize. Artwork is provided by Rini Rosenberg, Ola Larson, Stella Puck Härenstam, Joachim Eriksson, and Johan Noor. The 268-page book is available in hardcover for $43.50. or in PDF from Drive-Thru RPG for $24.99. I'm also going to be looking at the Maps and Markers pack, which is on sale right now for $14.73. The Mutant Year Zero card deck, which is currently $14.73. And the custom dice set, which is $19.99. Do want to mention Mutant Year Zero originally appeared as Mutant. So the game was originally released as Mutant, and that I want to say was back in about 1984. So before we bust into the core book, which I've got right here, and my Skies Above the Reich box, which is big and heavy, which I took a look at yesterday, was pulling in kind of double duty here, holding the core book up. So we're going to jump into the core book just a sec, but I do want to show off the dice set. So we've got the custom dice, And it says we've got yellow, 5 yellow base dice, 5 green skill dice, and 5 black gear dice. So I did take my little hobby knife and slice this open before the show so I could take these out. Because this kind of almost like clamshell packaging is just a pain to get open. So that's why I did that ahead of time. So we've got the green dice, and the green dice look like, yep. So the 6 is kind of the nuclear hazard symbol. So these are the green dice here. And obviously enough, Mutant Year Zero does utilize 6-sided dice mechanics. And as far as Tales from the Loop actually utilizes kind of the same system, but of course completely different game. So here looks like we've got the 1 is a biohazard symbol, and then the 6 once again is the nuclear symbol. And then here, these black dice, looks like the 1 is kind of an explosion, and it does show a 1. And then, once again, the 6 is the nuclear symbol. These are not cut. These are painted on. Well, not really painted, but you know what I mean. They are not actually deep cut dice. So, just to point that out, and as I mentioned, they carry an MSRP for the 15 dice of $19.99. So pop those back in here. Then we also have, all right, come on. Well, that's fine. We have the card deck, which says it contains 25 mutation cards, 25 threat cards, and 50 artifact cards. I'll be the first to admit I have never been one who is really set on... Yep, looks like I'm going to have to... No, it's got one of these little tabs running through, but I tend to always have a hard time with those tabs. It's just easier for me to take the hobby knife and kind of slice on in. Being very careful along the way not to nick the cards, of course. But I was starting to say, I've never been a game master who relied upon a lot of extra trappings, right? It's like, I know a lot of people love playing miniatures with, or not playing miniatures, playing RPGs with minis. And I love miniatures games, don't get me wrong. But as far as miniatures with RPGs and different cards and stuff like that, a lot of times I kind of look at it as just kind of, just to me, it takes away from the storytelling. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for some people, of course, they're like, wow, that really, helps immerse me into the game. Whereas I personally find the opposite to be true. So we got air mattress, assault rifle. So these are all, looks like artifacts, gear, bow and arrow. So it gives you the stats and everything, but no images, which, I don't know, hand grenade. So, of course, just these are just add-ons that Free League was kind enough to send me. So we've got, there's the artifact deck, we've got the threat deck. Boss versus boss. Missing person. So I don't know, I don't know if these are... We got the sinkhole. I don't know if these are key to playing the game. I don't think so. We're not talking like Torg Eternity, where you really need to have the deck to play Torg Eternity. So, Puppeteer. These are mutations. Sonar. Okay, so these are the decks of cards that are available. And I believe there are decks of cards because there are actually 3 core books. So, to my understanding, we've got the Mutant Year Zero core book, and then we've got the Mechatron, I believe it's Mechatron, core book, which is more about the robots and machines. And then I think, I want to say there's another core book, which is sort of like anthropomorphic animals or something like that. Those kind of characters. I think that it's more towards like the animal kingdom, but their mutations. I think, I'm not positive, simply because I am not, overly familiar with Mutant Year Zero or Mutant Chronicles, because I do believe that Mutant Year Zero, Mutant originally came out in I want to say it's 84, and it was originally a Swedish game, but it was very, very popular in Sweden, and it was a big hit, a big RPG hit in Sweden. And then it eventually evolved into Mutant Chronicles. And for some reason, I've always thought that Mutant Chronicles was more like science fiction, more. Now, granted, I understand it's still a post-apocalyptic setting, but I thought Mutant Chronicles was more that there's like space travel and things like that. Now, I could be way off base. I mean, it's another game I'm not overly familiar with, but I have heard good things about. All right, so then we've got the Maps and Markers pack, which I slid open earlier. And I believe this contains 2 double-sided maps as well as some tokens that you can utilize. So, jeez. Looks like, where is this going to be a map of? Alright. Creeping sniper in this area. Acid reeking marshland. It says mines. Little skull and bones. Here there be mines. Burnt out wasteland. I thought most of this is all burnt out wasteland. Okay, so that's this map here. And I do understand there's a good amount of material out for Mutant Year Zero. So there's like different zones and things like that that sound pretty cool. So let's take a look at this side here. Oh, it looks like this is more like a coast, like a coastline here. So a good size map. But as I was saying, I believe there's a variety of different like zone books that are out there. A lot of different supplements for Mutant Year Zero. So that's one of the things that I believe is a lot different, even though, as I mentioned, Mutant Year Zero and Tales from the Loop kind of share a common mechanic. Thank you. All right. So as I was saying, that Mutant Year Zero and Tales from the Loop share a kind of common system, but Mutant Year Zero is more. It's got a lot of stuff out there for like big epic campaigns, and your characters are gonna, from what I understand, your characters are going to evolve over time. Whereas Tales from the Loop, well, I'm not going to give anything away from the further review that's coming up. Tales from the Loop is really more designed towards like short campaigns or even one-shot adventures. Whereas Mutant Year Zero, I believe, is really designed more for ongoing tales and ongoing campaigns. So I've got a variety of different, those are upside down, variety of different markers here. So, looks like these could be like animals. There we've got biohazards. Looks like we got food here. Food and drink. Flares. Alright, so then we've got those as well. So I just want to kind of show these off a little bit. I guess it was one map. I don't know why I was thinking... No, it was 2 maps, because I just put the one map away. I don't think I showed this one off that much. Oh, okay, so this is a bigger map here. And obviously this is this looks like this is New York. Looks like Manhattan. Got the Fallen Lady, the Death Tower, zone swamps, and of course we can see that that the ocean is reclaiming much of this. And then what we got on the other side. Looks like we've got another zone that's much larger scale, whereas the Manhattan one, the New York and Manhattan Island, is much smaller scale. Okay, so pretty cool, pretty nice. So that's the maps and markers pack. But as I had mentioned before, as far as this and the card deck and the custom dice, I mean, these are just add-ons. These are just, you know, these are extra goodies that you can utilize. What I'm most interested in is the core book right here. As I mentioned before, it is 200, I think it was 268 pages. So let's flip on over to the back. I guess I better throw on the old reading specs. So it says, we walked among gaping ruins and rusty car wrecks, monuments to the fall of the ancients. Naphtha had been taken by a death worm, and the rot had driven Hugest insane. We had no grub left, and there were only rot water to drink. Only rot water to drink. But we had to keep going. We had to find Eden. We could not return to the Ark empty-handed. The fate of the people rested on our shoulders. Suddenly, Franton, the insect-like stalker leading our way through the wasteland, stopped. Zone ghouls, he hissed, drawing his scrap rifle. I inhaled, ready to spew out a cascade of flames at anyone who dared come close. In the next instant, a chilling shriek rose from the ruins around us. Mutant Year Zero takes you to the world after the Great Apocalypse. Humanity's proud civilization has fallen, the cities are dead wastelands, wind sweeping along empty streets turned into graveyards. But life remains. Among the ruins, the people live. You are the heirs of humanity, but not quite human anymore. Your bodies and minds are capable of superhuman feats. You are mutants. Fear the mutant. Okay, so crack this on open here. Oh, so this is same map that we had as far as one of the big maps in the map and marker pack. Okay, so nice thick cardstock on the paper. It's got a little bit of a gloss to it. Talking about the Game Master. So what do we got here? So now another aspect of Mutant Year Zero that I believe is very similar as with Tales from the Loop is you're supposed to be able to roll up and get started with your characters pretty quickly. So we got the Game Master section here. The people at the end of time. So of course we got some background info here. Talking about tools of the game. What is role playing? I don't understand. It says mutant card deck. It says contains playing cards for 3 types: threat cards, mutation cards, and artifact cards. They help you play the game, but they are not absolutely necessary. All the information on the cards is repeated in this book. So there you go. So you can roll dice instead of drawing cards to get the random results, which I assumed. The map of the zone. So I'm sure folks out there who really enjoy playing Fallout, who really dig Fallout, will probably be drawn to this as well. So I like the Ark. I think the Ark is kind of I don't want to say it's like your vault, like in Fallout. I believe the Ark is kind of like your home. So we've got your mutant. Very cool artwork. I like this artwork. Very reminiscent of graphic novel. So we've got the attributes: strength, agility, wits, empathy. So you got the character sheets. Gonna give you an example character sheet here. Weapon: scrap rifle. So it looks like a couple pages, front and back. Relationships and dreams. Your gear. What are you eating? The Ark has an ancient stockpile of canned food from the old age, but it's almost gone now. Bum, bum, bum. So we've got different archetypes, it looks like. So we've got an enforcer, Gearhead, Stalker. So it's going to give us the appearance, talents, relationship to other PCs, which is very important. One of the things I always laugh about is when I see an RPG campaign, and it doesn't matter what it could be fantasy, it could be science fiction, it could be horror, where it's just, oh, okay, so all the characters just get thrown together. It's kind of like, like the old trope where it's like, oh yeah, it's a fantasy role-playing game, so you're all at the inn, you're all at the saloon. It's like, seriously, really? Come on. So I like the fact that what I've seen with Free League games is they want to establish relationships between the PCs during the period that you're rolling up a character. And that is not something that's unusual these days. We see that quite a bit. So relationships, NPCs, your big dream, and your gear. We've got the fixer. Got the dog handler. Chronicler. Also even gives you typical names. Tells you what your key attribute is. What your specialist skill is. Could be the boss. I'm the boss man. Slave. It feels good to be a slave. To know your place. To have a purpose. I don't know about that. Maybe after the apocalypse it is. Yeah, we're talking about skills, rolling dice. So basic says there are 12 basic skills in the game. Any mutant can use these. Furthermore, every role has one unique 13th skill. Every skill is connected to one of the 4 attributes: strength, agility, wits, and empathy. Skills are measured in skill levels from 0 to 5. So, of course, you're going to have your dice pool. You're looking at rolling successes. That's what it looks like here. Let's double check. Yep. You get, okay, when you use a skill, first describe what your character does or says, then grab a number of skill dice, green, equal to your skill level, and a number of base dice, yellow, equal to the current value of the attribute connected to the skill. If you're using the right tool, you also get to use a number of gear dice, and you roll all the dice together. So, so basically you got to roll a 6 for a success, or if you're using custom dice, the nuclear symbol. And then if you roll more than one success, you get to do something a little more special than just simply succeeding. So very, very similar to Tales from the Loop. Excuse me, had to grab a sip there. All right, so rolling without a skill level. Got a bunch of examples. Pushing your roll. You can mutate. Says mutates you. I don't know. Gear bonus, one-shots, NPCs, and skills. Modifications. Simultaneous actions, basic skills. This does not strike me as another very crunchy system. Just like Tales from the Loop is not a very crunchy system, this doesn't look like this has got a bunch of crunch either. And it's basically breaking down, so for an example, it's talking about the different skills. Okay, so what happens if you fail? What happens if you succeed? What could you do possibly as a stunt? That's if you get more than one success. So we got comprehend, know the zone, sense emotion, manipulate, heal, specialist skills. So it talks about the enforcer's skill, gearhead skill, fixer's skill. The chronicler's skill is to inspire. Boss's skill is command. Then we got talents. You get one talent for your player character to start the game. So we got enforcer talents, gearhead talents, stalker talents. Looks like there's 3 different talents for each archetype that you can choose one. It's got combat veteran. Then we got mutations, because you're not quite human anymore. So we've got you're rolling a D66, which is basically you're rolling 2 6-sided dice, taking the lowest number as the first digit as the tens, and then the higher die as the single digit. So extreme reflexes, flame breather, parasite, puppeteer, telepathy, sonar, conflict and trauma. Talk about social conflict, close combat, ranged combat. Talking about different weapons. Critical injuries. Oh, there's a critical injury table. Once again, rolling a D66. It's funny, I'm familiar with D66 because there used to be a baseball game I played all the time, and we're talking this years ago. I don't even think you can pick it up anymore. Shirko Baseball. And all the results, you were rolling 2 6-sided dice, so you could have anywhere from 11 to 66. Okay, so then we've got the Ark. So it's saying the Ark is your home. This is where you've grown up together with the other mutants, protected from the horrors in the zone around you. So type of Ark, Ark position. So this looks like this is more... No, it's still players section. So I guess the players and the GM together can kind of come up with what the Ark is. So for an example, Ark beached cruise ship. Yeah, I guess they're taking Ark literally there. Okay, projects. Developing the Ark. Oh, scrap fortress. Talking about different things that could be in the Ark. Printing press. Explosives lab. It looks like maybe we've got, let's make an example one here. It says the Dawn Vault. Attacks against the Ark. Then we got zone travel. Zone 1, the Big Smoke. Pretty cool. There we go. There's that map that we saw of New York and Manhattan. The Dead Apple. That's Zone 2. I am almost positive that there is a source book for the Dead Apple for Mutant Year Zero. So we got zone travel, zone expeditions, artifacts, rot level. Your job as Game Master. Here we go. Here comes the Game Master section. Everything rots. In the world of Mutant Year Zero, nothing endures. Cool. Hope never dies. Players have the answers. Mutations are there to be used. So don't fear the mutant. Don't fear the other. You are the other. Giving you kind of little, kind of like hooks here almost. Events in the zone. Kind of giving you folks ideas on how to create different events. Playing your first session. So a bit of a random event table there. I'm not a huge random event guy. Never have been. So, and I understand why games like Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder have random events. You need to be able to give those PCs the ability to score all those experience points so they can level up. But games that don't use levels like that, I'm not a huge fan of random events. I'm not saying that you can't make up a list of a few different things that could happen to make the game pretty interesting. I'm just saying, random stuff is just random. Threats against the Ark. Starfall. Revolution. Zone goals attack. Okay, creating the zone. Bunch of different tables again. So we've got the environment, what ruins are here, the level of rot, threats in the zone, artifacts, ruins in the zone, normal ruins, airplane wreck, amusement park, bus station, all different stuff here to kind of give you an idea. A lot of times in role-playing games, I recommend, especially when you're just starting out, and like say you got a new game like this, game masters tend to overthink things sometimes. You should have a good idea of what you're trying to put together, and be able to flesh things out, especially on the fly. But you don't necessarily have to spend hour upon hour upon hour getting every last small detail down about a location or an area, because most of the time it's just going to get glossed over in play anyway. Got threats in the zone, beast mutants. See, this is what I believe there is another core book for characters like this, or stories that revolve these mutated beasts. So, wanderers, water traders, wreckers, and there's monsters. Killer tree, a devourer, scrap crows, zone wasps, zone leeches, ugh. Phenomena, acid rain, there you go, gotta love that. Heat wave. Well, there's a lot of stuff in here. Now we talk about artifacts, talking about different stuff, probably different weapons and armor. There we go, chainsaw, cassette player, yeah, there we go. Crossbow, flashlights. Why would anybody have a cassette player? Come on. Unless we're supposed to be looking at this setting is supposed to be like the 80s, where, you know, the apocalypse took place during the 80s. And we got special zone sectors. Is this a sample adventure? Oh no, it's just talking about different zone sectors that you could include in. Got looks like an abandoned skyscraper here. Or I should say not abandoned, dilapidated. Got the Nova Cult. The Hell Drivers. Wonder if we're going to see an adventure. Maybe not. Don't know. Although this is kind of giving us some special locations that you can add into your zones. Some artwork. The Pure Plant. This is the other arc. The Hell Drivers, Rust Castle. Got the Path to Eden. Some background. This looks like this is the background to the game. The meta plot in game. Ah, so this is a system that's got a big meta plot. I kind of dig those. As long as the publisher stays on top of it, I think meta plots are pretty cool. And because the thing really, you don't have to stick to it. You can do whatever you want. It's your game. But I do kind of like the meta plot aspects. All right, so kind of just a bunch of the background. Talking about some of the other meta plots as well. And then we've got an index. Got gear and services, scrap table, and the Mutant Year Zero character sheet, which obviously enough, you can probably simply just download. Yep, so we got a color, and then we've got a grayscale. I don't know, they're showing, well, wait a second, what is this? The arc. Oh, it's the you've got like a sheet for your settlement, for your arc. That's kind of cool too. Pretty nice. Nice quality book. Very, very nicely done. And that is what we've got with Mutant Year Zero, the core book for role-playing at the end of days, which is from Free League as well as Modiphius Entertainment. So I did point out that there are some sale items going on from Free League. So for an example, like I had mentioned, the dice, well, not the dice, I should say, the cards, the map and marker pack, and there's some other stuff that it's on sale from the Free League site, but not from Modiphius' site. So if you are looking to pick up like physical copies, not the PDFs, you might want to take a peek at the Free League site because the difference in price was a couple of bucks. I can't guarantee that that's gonna, that sale's gonna go on forever. I think it might just be for the summer. So stay tuned because I will actually have a review of Mutant Year Zero. It's going to be a couple of weeks, about probably 3 weeks, because you got to remember, next week I will be in San Diego for most of the week. And we're certainly not going to be sitting around playing games, and I won't have time to be reading RPG books. Anyway, so that is it for today's show. That was very, very weird about the power outage. I got my fingers crossed that it's actually going to segue into one show from the stream on YouTube, but I gotta be honest, I highly doubt it. I think too many minutes went by between the first part of the stream, then the power went out, and then the stream picked up again. So hey, Drew Barbier has been watching along, so hey, sorry about the interruption there, Drew. I have no power over the power grid here, which I gotta be honest, here in Yorkville, Illinois, the power grid kind of sucks. It's like practically every night there's some sort of a power outage, like at, wee hours of the morning. Anyway, so I was going to say, on tomorrow's show, I will be taking a look at Istanbul, the dice game from Alderac Entertainment Group. And then on Monday, I will be reviewing Tales from the Loop, which was also from Free League and Modiphius Entertainment. So, all right, once again, when you're not watching the Daily Dope or any of the other videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Come on, you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. I will be back tomorrow, which is Friday the 13th. Let's hope nothing weird happens. So until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get.